Hey, I'm Lewis, and in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to set up Google Ads custom parameters. I'm going to teach you about UTM tracking and show you some best tips and strategies that we use when tracking results for our clients on Google Ads campaigns. So why are UTMs and proper tracking and all this other stuff so important if you just want to run Google Ads campaigns? Well, it's actually something that's often overlooked or set up incorrectly when running these campaigns, and it helps you identify which leads and sales came from which keyword, source, medium, all this other jazz, so you can optimize around that further past just the gclid, which only tells you which campaigns converted. This is especially useful if you're using third-party tools like Salesforce or Marketo, or you're looking at your data through analytics as well. It helps break down exactly where those leads and opportunities came from, so you can now optimize around it. So let me just jump into my screen really quick, show you some common use cases, and teach you a little bit about UTMs. All right, let's go. So before I jump into Google Ads and show you step-by-step how to set this up, let's just cover really quickly what are UTMs. So fun fact, UTM actually stands for Urchin Tracking Module, and this is a software company that Google actually purchased in 2005, and that later became the foundations for what we use as Google Analytics. So it's basically just, a shortened version of their company proprietary tracking module. So we actually require our team members to have UTMs on every single campaign before turning them on. And there's a big reason why. It saves us so much headache further down the line and helps us optimize a ton, because now we can see a lot more parameters inside any kind of lead dashboard or third-party sales tools like Salesforce to figure out where our biggest value leads actually came from or what other parameters they actually converted on. And I'll show you that in a second, but let's first cover what this format looks like. So this is a basic tracking template to use. Go ahead and check the description. I'm going to include this code if you just want to copy and paste it and just not watch further, that's fine. But I want to show you also how to use dynamic parameters. So I think it does make sense to keep watching. But basically lpurl stands for landing page URL. And what's going to happen is when you put this tracking template on, someone clicks on your ad, Google automatically switches this out with the actual landing page that they clicked on the ad for. And then same thing for the device. If they were on a desktop or a tablet or mobile, it'll switch out the word device with mobile, desktop, or tablet. And then if you want to know the source, we like to put Google Ads since it's a Google Ads campaign. That helps you a lot when you're looking through analytics to see where the source of the traffic's coming from. Ad group ID, that's also populated automatically. Campaign ID and creative and things like that. And then you can go ahead and replace this. This is the actual campaign name, because if you just put campaign ID, you have to then go inside Google Ads and try to cross-reference which ID this is. It's not that helpful, but it is a good fallback option to track. We also put the campaign name to as well, so we can look directly inside the analytics or directly inside the third-party sales tools to see where this lead came from. Okay, cool. Enough backstory. Let's just jump in how to actually set up UTMs. So I'm inside Google Ads right now, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set this up. So just go ahead and click on any campaign you're planning to launch soon. So I have all these paused campaigns. Going to go ahead and click on this first one here. Now, once you've clicked on that, go down to settings. It's over here on the left-hand column. They might move it around, but this is where you're going to change the UTM tracking. Okay, so once this loads up, you're going to go down to where it says campaign URL options. It's right here, typically towards the bottom. This is where we're actually going to set up options. As you see, I haven't set options on this yet. I'm going to show you how to do that. Great, so this is how it looks like if you haven't set up any campaign URL options, you haven't set up any tracking templates or any custom parameters. So this is typically how it's going to look when you're just starting out. Now, before we can paste things in, it's important you know the available ValueTrack parameters. And these are the ones that Google's going to auto-populate for you. It's kind of hard to find this page for some reason. It keeps moving around, so I'm going to include the link in the description, and if it ever updates, I'll just update that link. But this is basically what I showed you earlier, where you have your parameter and then what it returns. So basically, it's going to switch out with something relevant data. So basically, if you put the campaign ID, someone goes on your site, clicks on an ad, and they browse a certain page, that UTM parameter will now have a number on it rather than just say campaign ID. Some other examples that people commonly use are keywords, also creative, placement, and then also device is another one. Match type is good too as well. But those are the most common ones. You don't have to add all these. Just add the ones that are relevant to you, and then go ahead and set a custom parameter up so that you can track things like campaign name. Again, don't worry too much. This table, this link to this will be in the description below. When you land on this page, just scroll down a bit and then go down to wherever it says available ValueTrack parameters, final URL tracking. That's where you can find it. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste in that template I showed you earlier in the video, and we're going to change this around. So putting the campaign name here is one way to do it, but I actually prefer a new format that we use where it's actually using custom parameters. I just wanted to show you both ways to do it. So in this, I'm just going to track the landing page URL. I'm going to track Google Ads as a source, device, the ad group ID, campaign level, and so on, right? But how do I get the actual campaign name? Because if you notice, there's actually not a ValueTrack parameter for campaign name. You can only get the ID. Same thing for ad group. You can only get the ID. And what I like to do before launching the campaigns is always test out my parameters to make sure that they're populating automatically. So you can go ahead and click this test button and you'll see a list of URLs populating with what the final URL actually would look like. And if you see any brackets in that URL, that means you did something wrong. Like something's not tracking because that's not either something that was able to be imported or it's not a available ValueTrack ID. But just putting this piece of code alone will save you so much time in figuring out where your most valuable customers are coming from, where your biggest deals are coming from, especially if you're using other tracking tools like analytics, or if you're using anything like Salesforce, other marketing CRMs, or this is all for that. This helps you identify those opportunities, and it's a minimum you should have on launching your campaign. So let's talk about custom parameters. So this is how you actually track things like campaign name. So I'm going to go ahead and put the word campaign name here, or I can put campaign dash name. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put campaign name, and then this value is actually going to be manually set on this campaign level. So what you have to do is go ahead and just copy the campaign name. In this case, I'm just going to say the campaign name is UTM test. So you'll see right away I did something wrong. If I go ahead and hit test really quick, or hit plus, or if I hit enter or save, it'll actually tell me no, that you messed up there. And the reason why is you can't have spaces in the URL. So there's two ways you can do it. You can do %20 to actually put the space there, and that basically acts as a space. The URLs can then read that, and then tools like analytics will automatically remove %20, or you can put a plus sign. So that's another way that they know that this is not supposed to be there. This is, this is basically a way to separate out, so it's a space. So I actually like to use %20. And a good way to test this out is go ahead and put your UTM parameters or your campaign name, however you want, inside an actual URL, click enter, and it's gonna automatically put in that %20 sign for you. So that's just another way to confirm that everything's set up properly. If you just wanna do it that way so you don't have to manually put the UTMs in there, you can as well. And then you can go ahead and just put that as your campaign name. So now what you're gonna do is actually put this parameter here, underscore campaign name, in the actual original URL. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it at the front so we can actually see this. So we can do UTM underscore campaign name equals, what is it gonna equal? So this is gonna be UTM tests. Oh, I did it wrong. So this is why I'd also recommend using a UTM Builder, and I'll show you that in a second too as well. You don't have to manually do it like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do campaign name equals, and that's the parameters that's populating. And then always put an and symbol after that. Again, this looks kind of complicated. I'll show you how to do it the easy way. So if I go ahead and hit click test, you can actually see here that it no longer says like underscore campaign name, whatnot. It actually says the UTM test. So it populates it in, and that's actually how you get the campaign name to be imported. And you have to set this per campaign, of course, because you have to set what is that campaign name, but that's how you get it to just go ahead and input the name in the actual URL. All right, so if typing those little ampersand signs and figuring out the little ValueTrack parameters is a little too complicated for you, you can use Google's Campaign URL Builder. Keep in mind, this is for everything, email marketing campaigns and so on, not just Google Ads. So if you try to put in things like lpurl, you'll actually get a different output down here. So what I like to do is just go ahead and put like landingpage.com, put in all information you want to track. And the cool thing about this tool is actually if I put spaces in, I no longer have to put %20. So I could say test, and you can see down below, it's actually adding in the %20 automatically for me. So I can make sure there's no formatting issues, right? So what you can do is you can copy this URL. But what I like to do is just take it from the question mark part and then paste that into my tracking template. And then always test it too whenever you're putting in a new tracking template. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna take out this and then paste that in. So I'm gonna check everything looks good. And if you notice, I forgot one thing. Always put and symbol after each like UTM parameter. Otherwise, it'll just break things. So now it's that's like a comma basically for the address bar. So now I could say campaign name equals my custom parameter down here, which would then just pull in this information there, and it would just take effect on all my campaigns and ads in this level. So let me show you one more thing about how to set up the parameters on a keyword level. All right, so one more thing you can do if you want to get really fancy is actually go to your individual keywords and select them. You can actually add a parameter on that specific keyword. So what you do is you click on edit and you go down to change custom parameters. And here's where you can add specific parameters, set, find and replace, or add to text on the actual keyword if you want. I really don't use this that often. I really just stick to the campaign URL tracking, but I just wanted to show you that this is an option. If you want to get really fancy, you can do this as well. And that's it. So you've learned about UTMs, what they are, how to set them up inside Google Ads, and how to use things like custom parameters. I hope this video was informative and you got some value out of this. If you did, please leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. My name is Lewis Mudders. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.